2 years ago, I interviewed 30 California entrepreneurs with the question, what is it that you did to succeed? Like a lot of people, I'd read a variety of books on entrepreneurship, some scholarly, some popular, and a lot addressed the question, what is it the entrepreneur did to succeed? And there are a lot of answers. And it seemed to me that there had to be a more consistent story, a more universal story. What are some of the things that are more generable to entrepreneurs that we can learn, that we can then begin to apply to help entrepreneurs succeed? It's very important to me that I help entrepreneurs succeed. So I asked the question, what is it that you did to succeed of 30 entrepreneurs? And I chose each one based upon their location in Southern California. They needed to be at least in business 1 year. They needed to be profitable, growing, considered successful. So I explored the financial reports, Dun & Bradstreet and so forth, and got a list finally of 30 entrepreneurs to whom I wanted to address this question. And I know enough about entrepreneur success that I thought, I need to ask this question in stages of their venture, their enterprise. What is it you did to succeed? So after some preliminaries, some signing of agreements that I would keep everything confidential, the first question I asked was, tell me, looking back, remembering, leading up to the time when you started your venture, what is it you did before you started that you now see caused your success? What do you remember? And I got a variety of answers to begin with. This was a qualitative experience. I just let them talk. Some would say education, some would say family, some would say I had some money, variety of answers all over the place. And my response was, tell me more, just tell me more, I'd like to know more. And little by little, every one of these entrepreneurs came back to one consistent answer that they all settled on as the single thing that was the most important factor that caused them to succeed. And the before starting factor for everyone was experience. Now some of them failed in that experience, some of them succeeded, but every one of them pointed to past experience in a venture, a family venture, their own personal venture, as the thing, the one thing that caused them later on to succeed. Now this confirms other research, but that finding in other research is just one voice, one element in many voices. So I felt good that this was a solid finding. 30 people giving me the same answer. Experience. Second question I asked them was, now think of just exactly the time of founding, when you started it. What did you do right at that time that caused you to succeed? You look back on it, you see that now. This is what you see as the thing that caused your success. And again, there was a variety of answers to begin with. Some credited the local city for helping them. Others, there's a variety of things. They just gave all kinds of answers. And my response again was, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. I want to know more. What happened? And little by little, each one of them gravitated toward a consistent answer as to what it was that was the factor that caused them to succeed. Every single one of the 30, these were people ranging all over the place in age. Their companies ranged from 1 year old to 20 years old at the time of my interviews. Every one of them said the thing that made the difference at the time of starting was one or more, or a group of people who gave me advice, who were counselors. They were a network of people that I could trust. I could run ideas by them. They were safe, and I could feel encouraged by their responses. That's what made the difference. This included spouses sometimes, often not. This was sometimes not even relatives, people that were close to them, but every one of them credited this one element as the thing that caused their success. Not money, not a brilliant invention, not discovering a fantastic market. It was people who were around them, who were their advisors, their counselors, their network. An advice network. The third question I asked was, tell me what it was after you started that you measured that helped you know you were succeeding? How did you measure your success as you got going? And I got, typically it was a very financial answer. Return on equity, return on investment, cash flow, net income. I was measuring, that's what I was measuring. And I'm a business professor, so each time I would respond with, that's interesting. So this was very early in the venture. How did you know what level was good or bad, or if you were doing okay? And that question inevitably led to something like, well, I was guessing, or I'd heard other people had this kind of profit, or others this. And after interviewing maybe 15 of these people, I could not find a pattern to the answer as to what they were measuring that would cause the thing that was really the benchmark thing they were all looking at. And I was about ready to give up on this question as to finding something consistent when it hit me. They were all telling me they were experimenting with how to measure success. What was the element, what was the benchmark for them was something they were in the process of discovering. Some took 3-4 months to discover, others took a year, even longer to discover how to best measure their success, their achievement in their business. And for some then they began to tell me, well, I experimented with customer responses about the quality of what I was doing. Others were in fact measuring profitability, but it was an experimentation process. And so then the next 12 or so, they all said the same thing. They were experimenting. So the thing they all did after starting was that they experimented with how to measure success and how to do their business after starting. So as an overall model, what I learned here is that these 30 entrepreneurs anyway, and that's a fairly big group, consistently told me that the first thing they do is get experience. The second thing they did was rely on a network of people, trusted people they could count on, to ask advice, to get feedback, to get encouragement, and then go out and experiment be willing to experiment. Often coming back to the advisors for, am I doing this in a way that makes sense, this kind of thing. And for several of them, they did that once and failed. And they went back and used that experience and did it again. So that seems to be the model. That seems to be the process. You get experience, you then use trusted advisors, you experiment, and then you succeed. And that appears to be the answer to what it is successful entrepreneurs do to succeed.